Let's now continue our session with the ACEs for the taxation. So in this area, we just had a discussion in our previous section that taxpayer can be divided into resident or he can be a non-resident. So if somebody would be resident, in that case, if it is a legal entity, it is important to understand that here with the resident we have two types now. One would be juridical, which means a legal entity, and the other one would be natural person, which means individual. So if somebody is a resident and it is a legal entity, which means it is incorporated in UAE, it would be taxable on its worldwide income. So any income which it derives from its exports or any transaction even conducted outside the country, its global income would be subject to the tax here in UAE. But if you are an individual, a national person doing some business from within UAE, in that case you would only be taxed on the global income which is in connection to the business activity conducted in the state, which means if you as an individual, you are also conducting some business activities in your own capacity in some other country, in that case your global income would not be taxed. So your only income which you are which you are accruing or earning from the business activities which are conducted in the state, only such income would be taxed. Next area is the bases are for somebody who would be on resident. So in that case, any income which they are deriving from their permanent establishment. So as a summary, the permanent establishment could be a branch or a sub office here in UAE. So the taxable income of such sub office would be taxed here. So either such branch is exporting from from UAE into some other country, that income also will be taxed in UAE. Next important concept in this scenario is that for such categories, non-resident, the income which is sourced in UAE, I'll just explain you also. So income sourced in UAE, it may include income which you have, which is you are accruing from somebody who is a resident of UAE. I'll just explain you this in a bit. And the third is that if a non-resident is earning income which is attributed to a nexus of non-resident person in UAE. So still, as I explained earlier, we are still awaiting the definition or clarification of nexus. It could be a conglomerate which is operating here in UAE and the company is a part of it. So let's now see the concept of state source income. The concept of state source income is important because for non-resident, their state sourced income would be taxed. So income shall be considered as state sourced in any of the following conditions, which it is if somebody is deriving any income from a person who is resident of UAE, or it is derived from non-residents in connection to its permanent establishment. So somebody who is having a branch office here and I am generating some income from him, it would be my state sourced income. Or any income which is derived from the activities which are conducted in the state. State here means UAE. So in that case also, it would be considered as state source income and it would be taxed in UAE. Now just understand, this state sourced income concept is only applicable for non-residents only. So in continuation of the state source income, the examples could be if I am selling some goods in UAE, of course it would be the state sourced income. Income from the provision of services also would be state source income. Income from contract which are wholly or partly executed in UAE, and income from any movable or immovable property in the state excuse me, and income from the disposal of shares. So if I've invested in any shares or capital of a resident person, so a company which is listed here or operating here, if I have invested from a foreign country into that company's shares, any income which I'll be generating is also would be considered as a UAE sourced income. And the income from use or if I am giving any sort of IP rights or grant the permission to use in the state of any IP or intangible property. So for example, I am a foreign company and I have registered a trademark in some other country, and I have given a right of such trademarks to a company to use in UAE. In that case, the income that I will be generating out of it would be considered as a state source income. Now here one thing is important to understand. You may be considering that, okay, fine, if any foreign country company would be selling any goods to UAE, if it is exporting anything, so it can be considered as a UAE source income. Yes, it can be, but in future sessions I will be explaining you the concept of withholding tax. Okay, withholding tax is a tax where the companies which are incorporated and operating from within UAE, if they will make any payment to any country, to any company outside UAE, he will be deducting a tax from the income, from the payments which he will be sending to the foreign entity. And at present in UAE it would be 0% only. Okay, so the obligation of such tax of course would remain on UAE entities, but at present it would only be at 0%. So effectively in UAE we do not have any withholding tax at present. Once this concept will be applicable, if anybody is selling anything from outside to UAE and we are making any payment to such entities, we as a company incorporated here in UAE or operating from UAE will have a requirement to deduct the withholding tax, and it could be considered as the settlement of the obligation of paying a tax by a foreign entity in UAE. But of course it will come in due course. Next, I have two critical examples of that. When can the interest income be considered as UAE source income, and when can be the insurance or reinsurance premiums can be considered as UAE source income. So interest can be considered as a UAE source income if a loan is secured by any asset which is located in the state. So if a foreign bank is granting a loan to a UAE company and securing its assets which are in UAE, so the income of that foreign bank would be considered as UAE source income. Okay, or the borrower of course is a person which is incorporated here in UAE, or the borrower is a government entity, and here with the government entity we mean UAE government entities. The insurance or reinsurance premium can also be considered as a UAE source income if the insured asset, the underlying asset, is located in the state, which means any property located in UAE, if it is insured by a foreign entity and it is accruing the premium out of it, so it would be considered as a UAE sourced income. Next is similar thing, the insured person is resident. Of course, we will be getting further clarifications on this also. But if a foreign insurance company is collecting any premium from somebody who is a resident of UAE, in that case it would be considered as a UAE source income, or it is the insured activity itself is conducted in the state itself. So just a summary, as it is a very important area. Basis of taxation are divided into the basis for somebody who is resident here or somebody who would be non-resident here. So for somebody who is resident, it would be taxed on its global income. If it is individual, it would be taxed on its business activity income, which is conducted from within the state. If somebody would be, it would not be falling into the first category, and it would be non-resident. In that case, the income of its permanent establishment, which means a branch or a sub-office, or the income which is sourced in UAE. Okay, and the income sourced in UAE, of course, in a summary, it means that any income which I am generating, which is having a connection from within UAE, it would be considered as my state source income, and it would be taxed in UAE.